Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video, and in this video, well, as you guys all know, as I'm recording this, it is Friday the 16th of June, and in the world of cricket, we all know it is Ashes time. So in a couple of hours, the Ashes series will start. So I'm gonna try and get this video out before the start of the first test. I'll try eventually, but yeah. So let's get straight into it. So in this video, I will be talking about obviously the where all the 5 test matches are going to be at. I'm going to talk about Australia as well as our lovable foes, England, and make some predictions as well, and who I think will be man of the series, who I think will take most wickets, most runs, and also the score, and also most importantly the scoreline. And watch to the end of this video, because my prediction for the scoreline is going to be one that's going to be that will shock you. But my explanation will say, that's probably the reason why. So here we go. So basically all I can say is about the test matches is it's just basically like 2019, pretty much. So the first test match obviously is going to be at Edgbaston, which is of course almost right now. Then after that they go to the legendary Lords, in London, I believe. Lords. Then they head over to Leeds in the third test match at Headingley. Let's hope for the Aussies, for my sake, it's not a repeat of 2019 where we stupidly bowled them out for bowled the Poms out for 67, and we ended up losing the game by 1 wicket. Next up, they go to Manchester and go to Old Trafford, the lovable venue where we secured the Ashes victory in 2019. And then the 5th test match is a place we know very well for the Aussies. Most recently, we won the World Test Championship there just last week, or a week or two ago. Is the Oval, where we could have broken that stupidly long Ashes winning drought that we haven't won in England since 2001. But our stupid captain at the time, Tim Payne, decided to win the toss and bowl on a batting pitch. Thank you very much there, Timmy. So hopefully it's not a repeat there now that Pat Cummins is in charge. So that is the 5 test matches. 5 test matches there for the series. So let's get into the 2 teams. So let's talk about of course Australia for starters. So of course they've been very successful in the last 5 series, obviously since the 13-14 series where we smashed them 5-0. We've only lost one series, which was ironically in 2015 when we lost that one 3-2, the same series where at Trent Bridge we got bowled out for 60 on the first morning in that test. But other than that, obviously we beat them 4-0 in 17-18. We drew, as I said, 2-2 in 2019, and then smashed them again down here. Just over 18 months ago by a 4-0 scoreline. So we've pretty much since the 2013 Ashes series, we've only lost one series there in in the last 5. Also their recent test form. Obviously, as I said, they are now entering as the reigning World Test champions. Obviously, winning the World Test Championship final against India a week or 2 ago, which was fantastic for them. So we could sense that basically they're more match hardened than England at the moment. Since they got that extra match under their belt. Coming here, which is weird considering that usually we always play county sides like Worcestershire and all that on tour, but we're not doing that this year. So yeah. I'll name you the squads. So obviously they skip up there, and I'll pull my laptop across here so I can read it here, so I wouldn't look over there. Is Pat Cummins, Scotty Boland, Alex Carey, Cam Green, Marcus Harris, Josh Hazelwood, Josh Inglis, Usman Khawaja, Arnis Labuschagne, Nathan Lyon, Mitch Marsh, Todd Murphy, Matt Renshaw, Steve Smith, Mitch Stark, and Dave Warner is currently the squad, and I think it's a really good. It is a really good squad. Really good squad, if I may ask you. I know it's a bit of an Aussie bias in me, but pretty good mix there. Obviously, you got some of the batting geniuses in Labuschagne and Smith, and then obviously you got the youngsters are just new to the side in Green, Carey, Boland. Not Tom Marshall. That's the football. That's the Port Adelaide player talking about Braden. Todd Murphy, I should say, as well, who just recently come into the side. It's a shock that Matt Renshaw was considered. I don't know. I wouldn't know why he's in there, but then obviously. All the usual suspects in there are setting Khawaja, Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood as well. So it's a pretty decent squad. I currently I don't know if it's better than 2019. I would have if I asked that question, probably I would say yes, but not that much, to be honest. The only thing that's changed really is that Labuschagne's now regular first team player. Khawaja now is a good number 2 to Warner. Head's coming to the side, Green as well. The emergence of Scott Boland is just mind-boggling as well. But currently the starting 11 has at the time of recording, I don't think that's been announced yet. Well, I'll probably look on the internet and probably see that it has been coming out. But this would be my lineup. So of course it's pretty much the usual. It's pretty much the World Test Championship final side, pretty much side in my 11 here with Warner, Khawaja opening, Labuschagne at first drop, Smith, the GOAT Smith at 4, Travis Head at 5, who I think he gave a big. I think the World Test Championship final performance from him in the first innings was a bit of a taste, a bit of a glimpse into what we're going to see from Travis Head this winter in this series, to be honest. Green at 6, Carey at 7, Pat Cummins at 8, Stark 9, Lyon 10, and Scott Boland at 11. You might think to yourself, what about Josh Hazelwood? Well, what I would do is I would say to him, we might use you as a backup, but in terms of because if if, for example, if Boland or Stark or Cummins get injured, Neese's probably get a bit entering anyway, because Neese's been more experienced in the English conditions, considering he's been playing county cricket. So, in the lead up to this series, as well. So there's the possibility that's why I think the Renshaw selection was sort of, I don't know why they did that, because they could have probably picked Neser, who's also been good with not a good slouch of the bat, not a bad slouch of the bat, I should say, rather. Not a bad slouch with the bat in hand, but I think if I was a select, I would say to Hazelwood, we don't need you for this series. We'll see you in South Africa for the one-day series. So we prepare, so you get your game time, a one-day international game time for the Cricket World Cup. If you guys don't know, the Cricket World Cup is going to be in, I think, September in India. So I would have him get ready for that, because obviously it's pretty settled at the moment with Stark, Cummins, and Boland. I think the Poms are underestimating Scott Boland in their own conditions a bit. I think, in my personal opinion, not just because he's a Vic, but I think they're underestimating him a bit. So I think So that's what I would do. I think if I was Hazelwood, I would say I don't think we might need you if, for example, if we have two bowlers that in the same time basically get injured, or one of them goes home from some weird reason. But other than that, we don't need you. We'll see you in South Africa for that one-day series, just to get you right and ready, match ready for the Cricket World Cup. Because if you guys don't know, us Aussies are, I think we're number one in the world in one-day cricket. I don't know, but I think we need our best bowlers right, and I believe Hazelwood is one of those in one-day cricket. Even though the stats doesn't show it, to be honest. So yeah. A couple of facts to come out of this for the series here, and this is why, because if you guys haven't been on social media today, Ian Chappell came out and absolutely criticised England and Ben Stokes, because apparently it was revealed that Ben Stokes has demanded the English pitch curators to make a batting friendly pitch. That's Chappelli came out and said if he had, in Australian conditions, would have demanded, can you do this? Can you do this kind of pitch? Can you do this kind of pitch? Can you do this kind of pitch? The curators would say to him, buzz off. That's what they would do. But I know it was different back in the 70s compared to nowadays, but it's just ridiculous, this thing, because it goes then, even when we played India in the series over there was rumours and swirling around that the captain in Rohit Sharma and the Indian coach, Indian coach, I believe, Rahul Dravid, I think. I don't know. I think he's the coach. Had a meeting with all the Indian curators and basically demanded a kind of pitch, and also going one step further in banning, at one stage trying to ban people from photographing the pitch before the match, which obviously that was turned down. Is Stokes making a bad decision? What I'm about to say here, the ICC batting top 10 rankings. We have not one, well, England have only one in there, which ironically, it's Joe Root. Us Aussies, we have not one, not two, not three, but four in the top 10. Fun fact, also, Lamashane, Smith, and Head are 1, 2, and 3 in the ICC rankings, Test batting rankings. What does that say? To be honest, what does that say? I think we're in for a batting dominant series. If Stokes gets his way, and as the skipper gets his way with the pitch, with the English curators, then we're going to be in for a batting friendly series, because it's another bad decision when I get to this is where I'll get to England very soon as well. But yeah, and yeah, so it's pretty much unbelievable, really. Lamashane's first, Smith second, Head third, off the back of his century, of his match-winning performance in the World Test Championship final. And then Khawaja is 8th in the rankings, I believe. I think he was 6th at one stage. But because of his performance in the WTC final, he was bumped down a couple of spots to 8th. But he was still in the top 10. So that leads me to think, is this the right decision? By, yes, I know it's about all the BAZBALL situation, but it also plays to Australia's strengths as well, and also kind of think of it, Steve Smith, and they need to watch for Steve Smith, because the last 2 series he's played in England has been unbelievable. I mean, this is an interesting stat. He has scored 1,282 runs in 10 matches against England in Ashes Test matches against England in England, at an average of 64.1, which includes 5 centuries, but in brackets 2 double centuries, one in Lords in 2015. And then the other at Old Trafford in 2019, which set Australia on their way to winning the Ashes that season, in that year. 450s for the highest score of 215, which was at Lords, which is, I believe, I was about to say his highest Test score, but I just remembered what was his highest Test score. So they have to be very wary, I believe, of him. I just thought about this now, where basically, if I hope that the Aussies use this chant basically during the Ashes, and if you guys are massive fans of the Aussies, or certainly if you're an Aussie fan that is going down to the test matches, please use this chant in saying, or one or two chants. We all know that it's a familiar chant. We all know of the chant. If Lily doesn't get you, Tomo will. I would love them to say if Smith doesn't get you, Lamashane will. Let's just put it that way, in the batting wise. Or another alternative, if Smith and Lamashane done hurt you, Head will, which I believe will be the case. I believe, in my personal opinion. I think for me, we can't really play. I think we shouldn't play into the Poms' strengths, because we all know what their strength is since Brendan McCullum took charge of England. Is their batting, and yeah, I believe for me, in full disclosure, I believe if you look at these two sides on paper, I think the Aussies do have the better side, but in terms of tactics, England might just have the upper hand just a bit on Australia in that way. So yeah. Moving on to the other team, to the team that we're versing, which is the Poms, England. Look at the recent Ashes series. Obviously, they've only won one series since winning back-to-back in 3 in a row in 09, 2011, 12, and then 2013. Which is, as I said earlier, which was the 2015 series when they won 3-2. But obviously, it was a bit humbling with them getting a draw, a 2-2 draw, even though they won that final Test match at the Oval that year. It was pretty humbling because despite the fact that in the Oval win was pretty much a dead rubber anyways, we'd won the series anyway, we'd regained the Ashes anyways. And also, despite that miraculous comeback at Headingley, it felt like that we were a step. They were a step behind us, to be honest. Throughout the whole series, or in other words, we were a step in front of them, to be honest with you. But yeah, so yeah. But then obviously they were brought back down to earth when we travelled here, which I openly admitted that I got them completely wrong. I didn't know they were going to be that bad, to be honest. I thought they would really give it up to us, give it up to Australia in that series down here. In 22-23, but they didn't. In the end, it was really big for someone like Michael Vaughan to say after the 5th Test match when we secured the 4-0 win, saying that they threw in the towel. It's massive, and they've really changed since then. And then obviously the series in the West Indies after that was really the final nail in the coffin, really, and Root was sacked as sacked as captain. And then Stokes came in as captain. Brendan McCullum came in as coach. Really changed them around in that way. Really, but yeah. So talking about their Test match form, they've really turned it around. They haven't really played that much Test cricket. To be honest, I think that their last Test series was in Pakistan. I think. I know they played last winter. They played it over here winter, but over there summer. They played, I think, series against South Africa and India, and I think they won both of those. And also against, I think, New Zealand as well, and they won two matches as well, and they bet them as well. So they got good form in Test cricket at home as of late. So it's proof that in the pudding there on that front, But he is the squad, and I actually like this. I think the Aussies should not underestimate this England squad, in my opinion. I don't think they should underestimate it. So here it is. Obviously, the captain in Ben Stokes, the old boy himself, Jimmy Anderson, Johnny Bairstow, and then the other old boy, Stuart Broad. Harry Brook, Zach Crawley, who massively has impressed ever since debuting in the last Ashes series down here in Australia. Ben Duckett, Dan Lawrence, Jack Leach, Ollie Pope, Matt Potts, Ollie Robertson, Joe Root, Josh Tongue, who I've never heard of, which I believe it's the first time he's been selected in the England squad. Chris Wokes and Mark Wood, and of course they first hit the first strike by announcing their starting 11 themselves. This is their starting 11 for the match at Edgbaston. Crawley and Duckett to open. Ollie Pope goes off at number 3. I think he batted at number 5. I think 4 or 5 in the last series, so he's been promoted to number 3 most recently. Joe Root at 4, Brooke at 5, the skipper Ben Stokes at 6, Johnny Bairstow at number 7, Moeen Ali, who's I didn't mention in there, but he announced that he was going to come out of retirement just for this series, obviously with their injury issues with their bowling stocks and that. He's at number 8. Ollie Robertson at 9. Stuart Broad, controversially, was picked over Mark Wood, which, to be honest, I would have gone with Mark Wood rather than Broad, to be honest, because, of course, obviously, then obviously you got Stark with that sheer pace, that fear factor. Could bowl over 140, bowl at least to 90 miles an hour. Not often as he was used to, but it can still do that. Scott Bowen, who just bowl line and length all day, and I think he will basically be. I think the Poms will underestimate him, his abilities on that. And then of course number 11 is the old boy himself, Jimmy Anderson, who is 20 odd wickets away from being the second man behind Muley and the late Warney to achieve 700 Test wickets, and the first pace bowler to get to that milestone as well. That'll be a massive achievement for that man. Other facts to say here. Obviously, I did mention about the batting rankings. Now, for the bowling side of things, just some late adjustments here. But there's going to be five of the best bowlers in the world are going to be featured in this series. Three of them in the top 10 for England, which of course are Anderson, Robertson, and Broad. Of course, Anderson is the number 1 ranked bowler. I think number 2 ranked bowler in the world, because number 1 ranked bowler in the world is Ashwin. For some reason, did not play in the World Test Championship final. Yeah. And then there's 2 of them for the Aussies in Cummins and Nathan Lyon. Nice, Gary. But another fact here is basically Anderson, that old partnership, the partnership of the 2 old boys in the team, Anderson and Broad, have a combined 54 wickets. Obviously, most of them, if not all of them, most of them come from Stuart Broad. Obviously, Anderson has been, in the 2015, he I think halfway through the series had an ankle injury. Excuse me, had an ankle injury, came back, and was all that. Then in 2019, I think he suffered a calf injury, or a hamstring injury, something like that, which ruled him out for the rest of the series. I think he did that on the first afternoon of the series at Edgbaston as well. So that pretty much ended things there. But that opened the door for Jofra Archer to come in, which, by the way, of course, Archer not going to feature in the series, obviously, because of his occurring elbow injury as well. So that's why he's not in there. But a impressive record for Broad. 44 wickets in the last 2 series in England. Last 2 Ashes series in England. That's a pretty good record for Stuart Broad. I would love to know how many of them were against David Warner. Probably most of them were for the 2019 series. Probably, and I wonder if that will be the same again in this series. Probably, most probably. But as I said at the top, talking about England, I think the Aussies should not underestimate this squad. I think that under Brendan McCullum, they've really transformed to this BAZBALL type of thing. But I believe. But I think if they underestimate them, then that's probably the chance that'll happen. So let's get straight into the predictions. So I've gone with most wickets, most runs, Australian man of the series, England man of the series, as well as who I think will win the Compton Miller Medal for the actual man of the series, and then the series scoreline as well. So the most wickets I've settled these into Australia and England. I think for Australia is Scott Boland. I have full faith that Boland will do very well in English conditions. He proved that in the World Test Championship final, and I think he'll prove everybody wrong again in England's fit. Which I think, if memory serves me correctly, I think this is his first actual tour that he's going to be playing in the starting 11. Because normally he's been playing the home Test matches, pretty much. And then the English most wickets, I believe that it'll be James Anderson, and I think that if I were to pick which Test will he get his 700th wicket, I think it'll be none other than Lords. It has to be at Lords. No better place to get your 700th Test match wicket to be the first pace bowler to do it than at the legendary ground itself, Lords. It has to be that. That's I think that it's probably a bit of a toss of the coin. It was probably a bit of a toss of the coin between Anderson and Broad. Maybe Robertson also can squeeze in there as well, but I think Anderson was the right choice for that one. Most runs for Australia. Some people might think Labuschagne, Smith. But I've gone with Travis Head. I think. I've said it at the top of this video, and I'm going to say it again. I think that WTC innings of 150 odd that he did in the first innings, I think that's a little appetizer. I did say a bit of a glimpse, but a bit of an appetizer for what is to come this summer. I think the main course is not yet being served on the plate by Travis Head, and I think the main dessert is probably the Ashes, lifting up the Ashes, and obviously him being man of the series. Which I'll get. So speaking of him, I might as well do the Australian man of the series. It's gonna be Travis Head. I think. How many runs I believe he'll get? I think he'll get over 500. I think he'll get to over 500 runs in the series. And also prove to not only to England but also to the world that we're not just a one-man band in Smith. Or just a two-man band, I should say, in Smith and Labuschagne. That Head can do this too. But I think he'll do that. Most runs for England, I think I can see Zach Crawley having a big series. As opener, he hasn't in my eyes, hasn't really shown himself. Well, he showed glimpses in the Ashes series down here in the 3 matches he played. He did show some glimpses, but we haven't seen of much what he can do. I think it's on his home in home conditions. I think this is where he'll show Australia and the world that he's arrived as an opening batsman for sure. Opening batsman for sure. How many runs do I think he'll get? If he performs at his best, he can get to 500 runs as well, over 500 runs as well. So I believe I believe full disclosure, I believe that this is probably the series in the summer, or the English summer for me. That Zach Crawley has definitely arrived in Test cricket as an opening batsman, to be honest. On that front, I've already said the Aussie man of the series, which is England, which is Head, I should say. Now to the English man of the series. I think it'll be the skipper Ben Stokes. And also, I've also tipped him to win the Compton Miller medal, because I think that I think he will do. I can definitely see a Freddie Flintoff 2005 series out of Ben Stokes, where he destroys the Aussies at times with the ball in hand, but then when it comes to the willow as well, he just destroys Australia as well. I think it'll be an all round performance really, and I think he'll not only win the English Man of the Series, but also win the Compton Miller medal as the official Man of the Series. Finally, to the scoreline. This one would be a massive shock. I think this series will end in a 2-2 draw, which is a massive shock. At one stage, I was going to be predicting a 1-1 draw. Actually, here's the reason why I believe it'll be a draw. I think that I know this is sort of the usual Australia-England cricket banter flying around. I think that there is signs that they're underestimating each other. There's signs of it. First off with Australia, they've just won the World Test Championship. They're the World Test champions. That happened a week or two ago. I'm concerned that those celebrate. I've said this even way back in January. I said this even before that World Test Championship final position was not probably secured. I've said that if they win the World Test Championship final, England will win the Ashes series, because I think that those celebrations will go too long. That is what my concern is with that, because as I said, the celebration will go too long, and this has been, of course, obviously they ruined their chance in 2021 with that series in India. They've said that they probably thought to themselves, okay, let's get this thing right and get to the World Test Championship final so we can be World Test champions, and they have. So what's next? So yeah. Probably more than likely. So basically, I said, so because of this, Australia will, I think, will retain the Ashes, but I believe that drought, unfortunately for England, in winning a series on English soil is going to wait a while, unfortunately. So yeah, But England are not are guilty of this same thing too, but in a different way. I remember I was at work. I was on break at work I think I saw this the other day on Instagram. hearing what Michael Vaughan said, and that was Broad has been the only English bowler to be bowling in the nets. Immediately I went, that's a bit of a worry. I'm not. He would say that as a positive. I'd say that more of a negative, because even though yes, Anderson. Yes, he's 41 years of age. Yes, Roberts. You can't. If you want to regain the Ashes on your home deck, you need to have your bowlers prepared, because they're gonna bowl against the three best batsmen in the world. That's as I said, in Labuschagne, Smith, and Head, and four if you count Kawaja in there as well. You have to have your bowlers on their game. They need to. So that's the only way. That's the only way the Ashes could be won. Is the English bowlers are on their game again, especially against Smith, because they're just gonna have this. They're just gonna have the same headache again. They're just gonna have the same headache as they did in 2019 when Smith absolutely teared them a new one in that series. So that's the reason why I think it's going to be a draw, because quite simply, I think both sides, and as I said, it has something to do with the typical English cricket, Australia cricket banter, but I think they're underestimating each other. That's what I think. That's what I think, in my opinion. I still don't know why. Still don't know, and because as I said, they got three. They got England. This is what frustrates me. England have got three. They've only got one batsman, which is Joe Root, in the top 10 in the Test batting rankings. In terms of the bowling rankings, they have three in the top 10. As I said, Anderson, Broad, and Robinson, I should say. Shouldn't they play to the strengths of their bowlers instead of their batsmen? All because of this BAZBALL thing. Like if they do that, then their batsmen are gonna have a good time of things. But at the same time, do you want to have Smith getting hundreds again? Do you want Labuschagne getting hundreds? Do you want Head getting runner ball centuries? That's the big question. So I think it's going to be the exact same scoreline as it was in 2019, a 2-2 draw, which means again Australia will retain the Ashes. That's what I think. But so I've been rambling on for about 43 and a half minutes. The first day's play is going to be starting soon. I better round up this video. And my voice is getting a bit janky for talking 43 minutes straight. So I better end this video. So like this video. Share this to anybody who is an Australian cricket fan or an English cricket fan. Comment down below. What are your predictions for this series? Do you think Australia, and what scoreline as well? Who do you think will be man of the series? Who do you think will get most runs, most wickets? I would love to hear your predictions in the comments below. And one last thing, somewhere down there, also, click on the big red button which is labeled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and wherever you may be, may the sun or the moon shine on you. It is Ashes time, baby.